Hello everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to On Cash Flow, where I help you become a master of your own cash flow. Now let's get started. I retired at the ripe old age of 27, and I did so by being frugal and investing a large portion of my money into the stock market. It's not exactly rocket science, but it is a little harder than it sounds. And the average American is not doing anything close to this. Okay, the average American is not saving a large portion of their income. And so in this video, I'm going to destroy the average American budget. So the average American household budget is apparently about $60,060. And this averages out to about $5,005 per month. And I'm gonna have to be looking at my iPad a lot here because there's gonna be a lot of numbers for me to read off. So please forgive me for not looking directly at you in the eyes. Which is not really in the eyes, it's in a camera lens. It is a little weird if you're not used to looking in a camera lens, but I've kind of gotten used to it by now. But okay, so I'm gonna have to be looking at my iPad a lot because there's gonna be a lot of numbers that I'm gonna have to read off, so bear with me here. But I do want to get this in real quick. You'll be surprised, like amazed really, how different my budget is being financially independent than what the average American budget is. But we'll talk more about that later. Let's get into it. So the biggest category of spending for the average American household is not surprising, and that is housing. Okay, we always know housing as the biggest expense. And in this circumstance, it represents 33.1% of their budget, which is about $19,884 per year, which averages out to about $1,657 per month. Just on the surface level here, if this includes like everything housing related, I don't think that's really that bad. 33%. That's pretty, I'd say, not bad. I don't have much to criticize on this one. The next one is big expense number 2, and that is transportation. So for the average American, it is 15.9%, which is $9,576 per year, and that averages out to about $798 per month. Now this is where we can do some destroying here. If you're paying about close to $800 per month for your transportation, then you are doing something wrong in my opinion. You're not being frugal, that's for darn sure. So I could easily cut this bill in half simply by buying one used reliable vehicle, paying cash for it, and making sure that it is fuel efficient. I think literally just by following that, you can easily cut this expense in half. No more analysis needed. Big expense number 3 is food, and this comes in at 12.9%, which is about $7,729 per year, and that averages out to $644 per month. Now this actually isn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still pretty high, and we can definitely get this lower. So this is simply what I would do. Buy store brand items, buy at a discount grocer, eat out only once per week or less, and those 3 steps right there, I think that you literally just cut down your food bill to $400 without even trying. Boom. $400 per month. That's what I'm going to be setting it at. Next up, the next biggest category is one that was kind of lumped in together I think kind of randomly, but it was personal insurance and premiums. And we have this at 11.3%, which is $6,771 per year, and that averages out to $564 per month. So I'm going to assume that the pension part of this is counting as like a defined pension plan, like where you actually get a defined benefit amount rather than a contribution amount like a 401k. And if that were the case, it appears that only about 12% of Americans have access to a defined benefit amount rather than a defined contribution amount. And so I don't think that is really applicable here, but let's talk about insurance for a second. The problem with insurance is that most people have insurance for pretty much everything, and usually it's because they can't afford to protect their downside, which means if they had to use that insurance, it would pretty much save their butt on that on whatever that was. So that's because they usually can't afford to pay for a $1,000 emergency or a $2,000 emergency, and that's why most people have to purchase insurance in order to protect themselves against those amounts of expenses. But if you build up a substantial amount of assets, then you can self-insure yourself on that, because if you do have to pay for something for $1,000 or $5,000 out of your own pocket, it's not going to financially devastate you. And therefore you can opt to not have insurance for many things because you have so much wealth behind you that you can protect yourself and self-insure yourself. Once you build up a good amount of wealth, you only really need to insure yourself against catastrophic events that could substantially devastate your total overall wealth. So here are my tips right here. I'm gonna list them off. Don't insure cell phones, don't insure appliances, don't get extended warranties, buy cheap cars, get high deductibles on all of your insurance, your home and auto, use term life insurance, and you will probably reduce this expense from, they said $564 down to just $200 per month. The next category on this list is, believe it or not, I think you should increase your spending on this category. That is the number of likes on this video. If you're enjoying this video so far, please make sure you increase the number of likes on this video by hitting that like button. It doesn't really cost you anything. You don't have to add it to your budget. It just takes you really, a quick second there, and it would really help me out, and I would really appreciate that. But getting on to the next big one, the next big category is healthcare. And healthcare is at 8.2%. It is $4,928 per year, which averages out to $411 per month. Now, I can't really say too much about this because for the most part, your health insurance costs or like your health insurance premiums, you don't really have too much of a choice, unfortunately. And I think the best thing you can do is just try to prevent having to have, a substantial amount of insurance. Try to get the high deductible plan by, eating well, exercising, if you're healthy, and then save money into an HSA. That's really all I can say here. So I'm actually not going to scrutinize this category too much because for the most part, this is out of your control. But the one that I am going to scrutinize is the next one, and that is entertainment. Entertainment at 5.3% and $3,203 per year, which averages out to $267 per month. So the way that I actually run my budget so much differently than what is here is that I have far fewer categories, and more of my expenses are going to fit into the entertainment. Pretty much anything that is discretionary, that is going to fit into my entertainment section. So I think this is actually pretty reasonable if this was only one person. Now, apparently this is supposed to cover the entire household. In that case, I think that $267 for a whole household is pretty low. And now we get to the good stuff here. Cash contributions at only 3.1% or $1,873 per year, which averages out to a measly $156 per month. If you are saving 3.1% of your income, then it's going to take you over 50 years to retire. So good luck with that. I want this to be one of your largest expense. If you can invest a large portion of your income to get it even to be the highest expense in your budget, that should be the goal here. After I cut down all of these expenses, I'm going to just add it into cash contributions, and you're going to see that at the end. We have a few more small categories left, and the first one is apparel and services, which is probably going to be clothing, and that is 3.1% at $1,833 per year and about $153 per month. I think this is way too high, and you don't really need to buy clothes every single month. Really, theoretically, you only need to buy clothes like once per year. You can buy all your clothes once per year, and you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. And I try not to buy anything with, giant advertisements across it, because typically those are very expensive. They're literally just expensive because they have that branding on it. So it's pretty easy, I think. I don't really need to go over how to avoid high amounts of clothing costs. I think this is more or less of like an impulse purchase, or more just people do it just as like entertainment. And so I would substantially reduce this by 1/3 of the cost, from $153 to about $50 per month. Next up, another really small category is education, and education is 2.5% or $1,491 per year, and that averages out to $124 per month. So I'm not sure exactly what they're referring to as education, and my guess it would probably be paying off student loan interest. So obviously, yeah, you got to pay off your student loans. But if we're not talking about student loan interest and we're literally just talking about like buying books and audiobooks and buying courses and all that, I don't think it's really necessary to spend $124 per month. Most of the things that you probably want to learn about can be seen for free or relatively low cost, thanks to the internet we have today. Now, there definitely is a time and place for investing in yourself and investing for education. And so I think this definitely can be a good category to spend money on. So I'm not really going to scrutinize this category for that reason. Okay, we're getting down into the bare bones here. We have miscellaneous at 1.7%, $1,010 per year, or $84 per month. Okay, I don't think you should have a miscellaneous expense category. Just lump it into entertainment if you don't know what it is. Next, we have personal care products and services, 1.3%, which is $762 per year, and that is $64 per month. I don't actually think that's bad, but I personally like to include my personal care products in my grocery bill because I buy them at the same place. So I'd say, $50 a month, that's not bad. Then we have alcoholic beverages, which is kind of sad that it has its own category. I would personally just put this into the entertainment category, okay, because it's definitely not required. It doesn't need its own category. But this is at 0.9%, $558 per year, and $47 per month. To me, someone who doesn't drink very often at all, I think that is crazy, spending an average of $47 per month. I don't want to act like I'm your mother here, but I think it goes without saying, drink very sparingly and don't spend $47 per month on alcohol. The next category is tobacco and smoking products at 0.6%, $332 per year, about $28 per month. So I'm guessing that most people, their expense on this is $0, and there's a few people who are driving this up. So I think it goes without saying, try not to smoke. Then we have the last category here, and that is reading, which I'm surprised it got its own category, and it should have just been lumped into education, or in my opinion, into entertainment. But reading at about 0.2%, $110 per year, $9 per month. It sounds like a very cheap book once per month. Okay, not bad. But honestly, you can utilize your library and get free audiobooks and free books at $0 per month. Well, it's not free. You already pay for it in your taxes, so you might as well utilize it. Okay, so that was the average American budget. I know it was a mouthful, I know it was a lot of numbers, but they have that, cool little graphic that you can see up on the screen that really shows everything in a lot cooler way, So I want to know from you in the comments below really quick, how does your budget look compared to the average American household budget? Are you surprised by anything on here? Is there something that's substantially similar to yours or something that is substantially different? Please let me know in the comments below. Let's have a discussion about it. But I do want to bring this all together and show you my new and improved American budget, okay? So we're gonna be using the same $5,005 per month, but I'm going to reallocate all these expenses into something that I think is a lot more optimal for achieving financial independence while not sacrificing any quality of life. So this is the category step by step. Let's go through it. Housing, $1,650 per month, same amount, 33%. Investments, $1,455 per month, 29% savings rate. Entertainment, $400 per month, 8% of your budget. Healthcare, $400 per month, 8% of your budget. Transportation, $400 per month, 8% of your budget. Food, $400 per month, 8% of your budget. Smaller categories, insurance, $200 per month, 4% of your budget. Personal care, $50 per month. If you don't want to include it in groceries, 1% of your budget. And lastly, apparel and services, so clothing, $50 per month, 1% of your budget. And that all adds up to $5,005 per month and 100%. That is how we can destroy the average American budget and put them on the path to financial independence instead. Now, you're gonna be super surprised here because I have another video where I talked about my actual budget in financial independence, and you're gonna see how substantially different it is from the average American budget. So if you haven't watched that video where I reveal my own budget, make sure you watch that video. It's gonna pop up right next to me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Zach from OnCashflow.com, and I hope to see you next time.